Hey everybody, welcome into the back room. I'm Andy Ostroy. We have former October 7th hostage Eli Sharabi with us today. We'll chat with Eli in just a moment. But first, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you listening, and we'd love to hear your comments. So email us at backroomandy@gmail.com and or post on our social media, and we'll read some feedback next time. And if you like the podcast, please rate and review and follow or subscribe, and you'll be notified every time we post a new episode. So Eli Sharabi is a former hostage who survived 491 days in Hamas captivity following his abduction from Kibbutz Be'eri on October 7th, 2023. He's become a global advocate, meeting with world leaders, speaking at the United Nations, and sharing his story with audiences around the world. His memoir, Hostage, is the first published account by a released Israeli hostage, and it's become an instant New York Times and UK Sunday Times bestseller. Eli, welcome into the back room.
Thank you very much.
So, congratulations on the success of the book, Hostage. It's a heartbreaking, harrowing story of your kidnapping by Hamas in the barbaric attack on October 7th, 2023. Your wife, Leanne, and your teenage daughters, Noya and Yehel, and the family dog, Mocha, were murdered at the kibbutz you were taken from, which is just 3 miles from Gaza. Your brother, Yossi, who was also taken hostage, was murdered after 100 days in captivity. I just want to say I'm so sorry for what happened to them, and that you had to experience such unfathomable pain and loss.
Of course, it's really unimaginable feeling, and the loss, and how much I miss each one of them every day. But I think, after a week in hospital, after my release, I went to the graveyard, and first of all, I apologized to my wife and my daughters that I didn't protect them better. And I promised them that I'll speak about them every time I can, and any place that someone would want to hear. And I think it's the best way for me to honor their memory.
You and I feel a kinship with you because I've had my own experience with murder. My wife, Adrian, was murdered almost 20 years ago. And so I feel a bond with you, brother. I understand on some level, and really have there's no words to describe it. So most people who experience tragedy and trauma like this usually choose to keep their experience to themselves. Why was it important for you to tell your story? I know you mentioned a minute ago that it's something that you feel compelled to do for your wife, for your family, but having to relive it over and over again through the writing of the book, that must have been incredibly hard for you to do.
For me, speaking about it, it's first of all, it's like a test in a book. It's like a testimony. It's a part of the history of Israel and the part of history of October 7. Only one piece in this puzzle of the day. This process, writing this book for 2 months, sitting 5 hours, 6 hours a day, every day, to remember all the specific details from October 7, all these details from 491 days in captivity. It was difficult. I will not say it's not, but it was very therapeutic for me. And it was very important for me not to forget all these details and to write it after 5 years maybe, or something like that. And my therapist, that I'm still seeing and probably will see for many, many years in the future, actually says to me that because I'm in touch with these facts and talking about it all the time, and all this podcast I'm doing, and interviews and lectures when I'm you know, when people want to hear me. Um, Actually, it's a part of my healing.
Hmm.
And because of that, probably I don't have any PTSD.
Mm. Well, that would be a miracle. And I hope that ends up being true for you. You know, I made a documentary about my wife's death and what our family went through. The film opens with me saying, every horrible day in history has a much happier day before. You've said, quote, we had a nice and peaceful life as a family. It was perfect, maybe too perfect. It was our piece of heaven until this heaven turned to hell on October 7th. Take me back to that peaceful, perfect life for a moment. Tell me about October 6th, your happier day before.
Wow. You know, all these 3 months before that, like saying everything about our family and about Noya and Yahel as our daughters that love families and love people. And I think July 23, everybody around, from the family from abroad, because Leanne was British and her family was from England, and some of the family from Canada, and they arrived to Yahel's event of bar mitzvah, uh, and she was so proud of that, and she was so happy. And when they arrived to Israel, and they've been a week with us to celebrate our bar mitzvah event, and after that, on August 23, we've been all the family together in Thailand. A real connection and lots of sense of humor, amazing sceneries we've been, and after that, we came back to Israel and Jewish holidays. That all the Sharabi's family and the big Sharabi's family around the table of the holiday, and they were so happy about that. And October 1st and October 3rd, it's their birthdays, and all their friends been at home, and we celebrate for them. And it was all these months was amazing, and we had really, really happy life. And October 6th, all our friends arrived just the day before October 7th, and we did a barbecue in our backyard, and it was amazing. Really, all the family together, and so we had great life. We had our piece of heaven in Be'eri. That is a great community, and lost 101 people at that day, and more than 30 of the members of the kibbutz been kidnapped to Gaza at the same day. Um, so we had amazing moments before that. I'm so grateful for the years I had with my wife and my daughters. I feel so lucky that I had that, and they will be with me until the end of my life. Every day and every moment they are with me. I don't need any memorial day for that, but I'm trying that it will be alongside of my life, but not instead of my life.
Mhm. And that next horrible day, you woke up like any other day, and I'm sure you couldn't fathom what ended up happening. When did you first realize something was terribly wrong?
Um, when we felt it's something special or something not usual, because we used to missiles from Gaza from time to time. So for us to hear the alarm in the beginning in 6:30 in the morning wasn't very so it wasn't a big surprise or something like that. I think we started to realize it's going to be something that we never had before. It was when the kids started to send these messages in the WhatsApp group of the kibbutz. Kids we know that they are friends of Noya and Yahel, and we know all their parents, of course, and they start to send these messages of help. Someone shot dead. Someone shot mom. Our house is burning, and things like that. And that was the moment Lian and I understood they are going to arrive to our house as well. And we are on a big risk there. And we just wanted to protect Noya and Yahel. So we decided not to resist. We don't have any weapon in the house anyway. We presume I'll be kidnapped, but their British passport, we presume, will protect them. We thought they have any boundaries, and at least that. And that was the first thing when they arrived to our house. We said to them, they have a British passport. They understood everything. Unfortunately, 5 minutes after I was kidnapped, they were been shot dead in our house. They've been slaughtered with their British passport and with their on their hands.
Mm-hmm. And you were held captive for 491 days, first in a home for about 52 days, and then during the first ceasefire, they took you into the tunnels through a trap door in the floor of a mosque. Over time, there was psychological terror, physical abuse, starvation, humiliation. Did you start at some point to think you were going to die? Like, did you really think you were going to die, or did you have this hope that as horrible as it was, what you were experiencing, that somehow it was going to end well?
First, you see death in every corner in 491 days, in every moment. It can change, and today you're alive. Another 5 minutes, you can be dead. You know that for sure, but you're trying not to deal with that. You're trying not to think about it as something that will, paralyze you, or um, you're just trying to survive any day, every day. You're trying to be optimistic as much as you can. And I had there another 3 young guys that been kidnapped from the Nova Festival, and that I've met there 50 meters underground. And I knew I have to give them some hope. So every day, every morning, I said to them, it's only a matter of time until we are going to be released. Our job is to survive all this time. It was very, very important to stay optimistic, because if someone just tell me that crying or self-pities, things like that, give somebody strength, believe me, I will do that. I don't believe that. I never lived like that. I always try to find solutions in my job and not to cry what happened. So that's what happened in captivity as well. And the last 6 months, especially, when they start to starve us on purpose, and they reduce us to 1 meal a day. And when I say 1 meal, it's not a meal like people thinking a meal. It's a bowl of pasta or bowl of rice, or 1.5 pita bread a day, very dry. This is a meal. But especially on these times, I forced them, actually forced them, and they were sure I lost it. But I forced them in the end of the day to say at least one thing good that happened in that day. And they look at me like I really lost it. And they asked me how 50 meters underground, when we're humiliated, chained, starved, we can find something good. And I knew it's like a muscle. And it was like a miracle. 2, 3 weeks later, each one of them start to say at least 3 or 4 things good that happened to him at the same day. And it was amazing. It gave us loads of hope and strength. And then we understand to stay optimistic, what is doing to your mind, to your body. Sometimes it's much better than a meal.
Yeah. Well, one of those young guys that you became close with was a 24-year-old American, Hirsch Goldberg Poland, who was later murdered, sadly. We here in the United States, we got to know his parents because they were very, very visible on the news and very outspoken. He was a source of strength, I guess, for you. He often quoted Nietzsche when he said, quote, "He who has a why to live for can bear any how." What became the why for you?
We understood our why. Each one of us, the hostages, we understood the why immediately. But Hirsch, that was so intelligent, amazing guy. you know his parents now, and you can understand what I mean about this guy. So modest. Um, Really, I wish he would stayed with us and we could survive together. Um, he just gave words to our behavior, and it was so meaningful for us because every morning after our prayers, uh, we remind to ourselves what Hirsch told us about this sentence, and that we cannot, we cannot. There's no way we lose our hope, and we're thankful for him. Um, it was our gift to meet him and to hear these words from him, and it gave us a lot. It was very meaningful for us.
Mm-hmm. And the terrorists told you that your wife and daughters were still alive.
Yes, they came to see and to say to me from time to time, "We saw your wife, your daughters with your mother, with your photos in the protest in Tel Aviv, and they're fighting for you, and you have to be very proud of them." I really, really wanted to believe that, but I'm a very practical person, and from October 7, I start to think about you know, all the scenarios that you can think of, what happened that day. And especially after I met Ori Danino and Hirsch Goldberg, when they heard on the news, when they've been in the house, in other house they've been, before I met them in the tunnels, they told me it wasn't very good in Be'eri. We heard it. Loads of people died in the same day, and I was very, very worried. Of course, I wanted to believe they are alive, but in the back of my mind, I knew it's a possibility they didn't survive.
Mm. Why do you think they told you that your wife and daughters were still alive? Was it just some kind of mind game they were playing with you?
I have no idea why they did it. If especially people that been with us, didn't know what happened to them. Maybe they didn't, maybe they did. I don't know, because they watched the news and all the news in Israel, talking about. I talked about my wife and my daughters and my brother as well. So they knew everything probably. Um, I don't know why they say that. Even on the day of my release, half an hour before I met the IDF, or was transferred to the IDF in this horrible ceremony in Deir el Balach. One of the questions they asked me on the stage was how I feel that I'm going to meet my wife and my daughters in a few minutes. And I really wanted to believe that's what's going to happen. But unfortunately, half an hour later, I understood they didn't survive.
Yeah. Well, upon your release, you were greeted by a social worker who told you that your mother and sister were waiting for you in the next room. And when you heard
Yes.
that, you thought what?
My first comment to her was, "Please bring me my wife and my daughters." And she kept saying to me that my mom and my sister will tell me. And of course, you don't need to say anything anymore. I understood immediately. It was like a 5 kilo hammer on my head. Of course, I cried for 5 minutes, and she hugged me and tried to calm me down. But and
I
then
can't imagine.
I knew I have the choice again. I need to choose again. Like I choose for 491 days, how to react and what to hold on, and how to stay human being in very extreme conditions like starvation. Um, I I needed to choose if to let the grief and my loss to bury me in that moment, or to to choose to find a way to move on.
Yeah.
And and I knew who gave me strength in that moment. And it's always my family. And I just wanted to hug my mom, my sister. And after that, I met my brother and other sister in the hospital. And since then, I'm surrounded by them with lots of support and love, and I'm very happy with my life now. I'm very, very busy. Um, and I really feel that after people vote for me and pray for me for 500 days, people I never met before, and I don't have the privilege to stay in bed and cry all day.
I get it. I totally get it. I think we're all, when people go through something like that, you're faced with two choices: you stay in bed and cry all day, or get up and move forward with life. You had hoped to get Yossi back too. When did you first learn that he had been murdered?
Um, 2 days before my release, February 6th, a commander from this unit in Dir el Balah, that was the charge on this horrible ceremony on February 8th, approached me with his cell phone and showed me my brother's photo, and he said to me, "Do you identify him?" I said, "Of course, it's my brother." And he was happily announced me that he was kidnapped as well on October 7, and he was killed on 100 days later in captivity, instead to being with me now. Um, I tried not to believe him and not to listen to him, but another guy, Ohad Ben Ami, that joined to me and Or, and that those days just before the release, we were released together. He used to watch every week the news, so he took me to the side and reassured me about Yossi, and that he saw these videos that Hamas, filmed, and Noah Argamani's film that she was released by the IDF, and she was with Yossi, and she saw him dead. It was a very, very difficult moment.
You're you're a super strong dude, and you've experienced something truly unfathomable. Is there anything you've learned about yourself these past 2 years that has surprised
Mhm.
you?
Um, I wouldn't say surprised, but it's some sides that I didn't really give them too much space in my former life before October 7. I used to be CFO. I'm a number person. I always wanted to think as me like that. I think after 3 or 4 sessions with my two therapists in the hospital after my release, um, they said to me, "You you try to fool us, and you don't understand how much um, you care about people, and you're good with people, and it's not all numbers in your life." And then I start to think, about the captivity time and what helped me there to survive, and all these meanings I found me helping others to survive this hell. And I start to understand that for me, meaning in life, it's not numbers anymore. It's helping other people. Um, Maybe this is the thing I've learned about myself, um, and not about numbers.
Hmm. You've said that you consider yourself lucky. Given that
Of course,
everything you've been through, why are you
of
lucky?
course, because I'm alive. Many people didn't survive that day. I'm a free man, and not all the hostages been freed. And when I was free, so I'm very, very lucky. I'm lucky to have amazing family that unite together always. That's what our parents told us, to stay for each other all the time, and to hear what they've done for me for 500 days, every night and day. Um, some of them been all over the world meeting people to try to release me. Um, Amazing, my dearest friends that stop their life and support my family. Um, and again, you know, I have a very busy and amazing life now, and wanted to continue like that. So I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky.
It would be easy to sort of lose faith in God after going through something like this. It would be certainly understandable if that were the case. Did this nightmare damage your faith in God at all?
It makes it stronger. I found faith again. Um, you know, I've you look very close at death in that captivity, very close, and every time I stayed alive, and I have to believe that something protect me there. And I remember myself how faith in God and prayers in the morning and prayers on Friday evening, all of four of us together, how much strength it gave us. So, you know, it's faith in God. It's amazing. You don't have to live a religious life to have a faith in God, to have a faith of something that you can't really understand. I feel I was saved. I was protected, and that's amazing feeling.
Eli, you're an incredible man, and I wish this next chapter in your life can bring you all the happiness that you deserve.
Thank you very much, Andy. Thank you.
And I appreciate you coming on and telling us your story.
Thank you.
Shalom.
Shalom.
This episode was produced and edited by me, Andy Ostroy. It was co-produced by Matty Rosenberg and Jen Hammoud for Radio Free Rhiniecliff, with additional editing by Matty Rosenberg, music by Andrew Hollander, and graphic design by Cricket Lengyel. And with a special thanks to our sponsor, The Epicurean. Again, thanks for listening. Please rate and review wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe to the Backroom with Andy Ostroy YouTube channel, where you can watch full videos of our interviews. See you next time.